Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7. So we've had the December update where we've had a number of changes into the game, and of course we've had the brand new car, a modern GT car has been added, the BMW M8. We've had a change to the menu, so we can see our Minecraft character here in his full glory. And here it is then, the BMW M8, the big boy, the very, very big boy indeed. And just to give you an idea of how big a boy it is, here's a London bus, about 10 metres in length. Put a load of those alongside the Titanic, you know, quite a lot of them go alongside the Titanic. And then that's how big it's compared to the M8. So you can get like 3 Titanics alongside one of the BMWs. So once again, the channel proving that it is educational. Well, we're going to move to our first race. You can see that pretty much everyone has gone for the HMS Titanic here. This thing is a very big car, but we're going to see exactly how it performs. You'd imagine that it would be good down the straight with the big beefy power that it may well have, but we'll see if that is the case as someone goes sliding on at turn 1. Okay, so just really trying to get through the first couple of corners nice and cleanly from 4th to 3rd, overtaken by the Audi here though. So the big comparison, I suppose, to see how good it compares to the standard cars that people use in this division. Because of course the Endurance GT division is, or the Forza GT division is quite well established now. They've got a lot of cars that work very well. I think everyone knows what the best cars are for this. So something like the Audi there, which is actually turns out to be a very good car. You can see exactly how this car compares with the Jaguar behind as well, which is known for its straight line speed. So running the Indianapolis circuit here, which of course has the very, very long straight / oval, but you know, we can test the top speed of this thing. So onto the oval here, and Jack has had a moment on the final corner, on the exit of it. I'm going to take over second place from him. So the Audi goes into the lead. You can see just how quick this Audi is though on the straight line. This isn't to say that this BMW is slow in a line, it's just the Audi is certainly very much tuned for speed, and even the Jaguar behind there, which is a straight line speed car, is not even really keeping up too well. So that kind of shows that this car is going to be a good all-rounder, I would have thought. But we'll do a couple of races and see exactly how it pans out. It's going to move to lap number 6 now. You can see it's a fairly similar situation. I've actually moved away from the people behind, gapped them by about 1,000 feet. But the gap here to Crasher in the Audi remaining fairly constant. He pulled away for maybe 2-3 laps, and then I kind of pulled him back in over the next couple of laps. So leave it at this point here. So the gap there about 70 feet as we exit the final turn. But by the time we get to turn 1 at the start of the next lap, because of how long that straight is, the gap nearly 400 feet. So he really is a lot quicker in the Audi. But again, not to say that this car is slow in the line. I think he's just really optimised that tune for this track. The tune I'm using here is by JSR Craviator, who typically does some very, very good tunes for this. And by this point here, I was actually within range to go for a move. I think that would have required contact if I were to fully engage and fully send it. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite close enough. Now, at this point here, lap 10, there's a back marker ahead, so I thought I'm going to switch up here, go into the pit lane, take my pit stop, and hopefully Crasher there might get caught up with that back marker, lose a bit of time, and I might be able to jump in the pit strategy. So at the end of lap 11, crossing to go onto the start of 12, Crasher went for his stop. There he is, that 1 pixel in the middle of the screen. And going into turn 1, he's resumed his advantage of about 100 or so feet, and I wasn't quite close enough on this occasion. Performing quite admirably though at the end of the race to come through second with a decent lap time, not too far off of that Audi, which seemed to be very good and actually quite a bit quicker than a lot of the other BMW M8s out there. So a good first race. We come then to Lime Rock Park. We all love a bit of Lime Rock Park because this circuit is, well, first off it's going to go black, the entire universe just goes black, and then, oh actually it comes back to life. So from second on the grid, we're going to initially go into first. We're going to have to go around the outside of this Porsche. Now of course, being such a big car that this is, Lime Rock might not be the best place for it, but I think by analysing that Indianapolis race, I was a lot quicker through the twisty section of the track, but a bit slow down the straight. So actually Lime Rock probably will suit this car. It seems to be one very much for handling, and you know, all-rounder slash handling. I'll summarise this car as. I would say it's very good to have another GT car, especially a modern one, of which there aren't too many. That's something that I would definitely look forward to seeing more of. You know, like the Ferraris, the McLarens. There's lots of different modern GT cars that could be added, like Aston Martin as well. So hopefully we can see more of them, because you know, it is a motorsport game. You want to see the proper motorsport cars being added. That is always a good thing. And it is also good. Let's not forget that even though there are still glaring issues with the game, for example, ghosting back markers, things like that. At least they are still paying attention to the game. They are still adding additions. They are obviously adding additions. They are still making additions. They are still making tweaks to the game. And you know, it's more than well over a year now that it came out. Since it came out, so that is good to see. That is a promising sign, that you know, things can still improve. And I think as the game is right now, it's a lot better than it was. Of course, when it came out, because when it came out, it was obviously a broken mess. But if it were to release in this state, then I think it would have got very good reviews, even though it kind of did anyway, even though the online was completely broken. Now I'm going to make the same mistake twice coming out this final turn. Jody GT just slowly reeling me in over the course of these first couple of laps. 24 laps here. It's quite a short lap, under 50 seconds typically, if you're good. And coming to turn 1, Jody DT just 60 feet behind. The proximity arrow hovering ominously behind. He's definitely caught right up. But as this is Lime Rock, we all know that this is quite a narrow track, quite a hard one to overtake around. And when you've got the width of HMS Titanic to play with, it can be very easy to kind of defend your position and prevent the guy behind from getting past. So no need to panic at this moment here. You can still go on for another 19 laps and block off the entire pack behind. So Slash Crasher once again, he's in third, he's doing well. He's probably one to look out for as well in this race. Seems to be a very, very fast player in this endurance GT division, so one to look out for. He's not really opting for the new car though. He's preferred to stick to the car that he's used to, which in this case is the Nissan Nismo, the Super GT car, which is a very good handling car, and probably the right track to drive that car around is Lime Rock. So now Jody GT firmly cemented onto the back of my bumper. I can't really afford to make any slip-ups here, otherwise he'll be through. Going through the uphill. Car goes very light, you just go over that crest. And if you change gear at the same time, sometimes that can really throw the back end around. And there he is, just poking to the bottom of the screen, thinking about a move into the final turn. Thinks better of it, probably not the best place. Bit of a tap. But I am going to have to go over to the right hand side to go defensive. Block him off. Make sure he doesn't come through at this point here. Into turn 1 to try not to brake too late. I have actually gone a little bit deep, but there is contact. I think he's gone a little bit too deep as well, which is good news for me, as I can keep the position for now. You may have also noticed as he goes for a move, I don't think the move was quite there, as just resist the contact and keep the position. On the exit of the right hander there, he's going to get an undercut, get along the right hand side, and of course the next turn is a right hander, so he's up the inside, he's going to take the lead of the race with a back marker coming up, and now Slash Crasher on my tail, so I'm in the sandwich here. And you may have noticed the HUD is actually a little bit different, so you've kind of got this flat looking HUD now, with of course the new details above the car, which change depending on the distance you are away from the car. So it's a little bit nicer, I think, the way they've done that. It's quite good. So into turn 1, and we've got another back marker off on the grass, which isn't the right, which in my opinion isn't the correct racing line to take around there. But each to their own, you know. So up behind Engine Turbine, who isn't really making this easy for anyone, although that is probably helping me at this point, as I haven't had the best of first sectors. The Jody GT having to go in narrow. I'm going for the lunge, it wasn't quite there. Engine Turbine with a cutback, and as a result of that lunge on the entry, I'm going to suffer on the exit. Slash Crasher goes through, down to third all of a sudden. And coming down the final turn, it's not going to be pretty at all. But, well, for me it is, because I'm going to go from third to first, as we all trip over each other with that back marker, not really playing ball there. He's trying to get involved with the leader battle, and kind of trips over Julia DT and /Crasher. That's all to my benefit though, as I go up into the lead with contact from behind, kind of unsettling me through this turn, but once again the wide boy here kind of proving to be a big defensive block to those behind. So coming up towards the right-hander, technical turn this, as you kind of want to use the curb to really maximise the track width and a bit of the tarmac on the exit, but it can unsettle the car, and of course you have the crest to deal with, which further unsettles the car. But down the hill, into the final turn, in the lead at this point here, really just trying to resist any moves from behind, and you can see Julia DT and /Crasher now fighting as they go into turn 1, which is always good news, as we kind of, you know, get a bit of a gap. If they're fighting behind, you can get away a little bit and not worry about defending too much. So another back marker here. What is he going to do? He's going to move to the right hand side and actually get off the power and let us all through. So that was a rather nice display of the blue flag mentality. Good stuff there. I'm sure Sebastian Vettel will be happy to see that in Formula 1. As we come through the right hand a little bit wide, we're going to lose a tenth or two, maybe a few tens of feet to the person behind. And we've got another back marker. This is a common theme around Lime Rock. Where is he going? He's going to the left, then to the right. Okay, he gets off the power as well. He's going to let us all through. But yeah, this is a common theme of Lime Rock Park, is back markers. Of course, very short circuit, 24 laps, and especially if some people go into the pits early, then you are going to catch up. And as we whip around this lap number 11, that's 24, we're almost at the halfway mark. This is actually engine turbine again, so he got involved with the leader battle last time around. I'm going to try to not trip over him, as actually go a little bit tentative into that final turn. Julia DT thinking about a move, he's moved over, /Crasher into the pits, so that is quite an important part of the race. Okay, so /Crasher goes in, he may well come out in clean air, he may well come out in traffic, but it is important that I don't lose too much time behind the traffic cars now, behind the back markers, otherwise /Crasher may well jump us in the pit lane. And we do have a couple of guys up ahead, but we'll see exactly what happens when we get to them. You're kind of just hoping for the best. That sometimes you just hope that they move out of the way, not that they have to. But if they do, then that always helps. You know, you lose no time at all. But if not, you know, you just hope that you meet them at the right place. The BMW just parking it on the apex. We're going to lose a little bit of time there. That was a kind of a weird thing to do. So we're going to lose a little bit of time there, unfortunately. There's not much you can do about it. At least we didn't crash, I suppose. Okay, so through turn 1, another couple of guys here. So 10th place and 9th place, the BMW M8 GTE just up ahead. Seems to be lapping fairly quickly. So it might be tough to get past him without losing too much time. It might be an idea to go into the pits, but I want to cover off Julia DT because it's hard kind of with a split strategy here. I have two people behind me. One of them's gone in, one of them hasn't. So what do? Do you stay in, or do you go? Or do you stay out, or do you go in? It's a hard decision to make. Goldie actually moves across, so no time lost there. That's good news. And Boostilla just up ahead. He's lapping fairly quickly though, so if I get up to him, it might be quite tricky to pass him, as I've just mentioned. And actually looking behind you, DT, he's into the tyre wall. Didn't quite catch what happened there, other than him just slamming himself into the shadow realm. Just obviously gave up on this race, just threw it away. We've got our engine turbine friend to deal with once again. Oh no, okay, maybe not. Illuminati confirmed, he just disappears completely. And he has been claimed by Satan. Anyway, like coming through the final turn, I decided this is a good time to come in. Julia DT was no longer the threat because he span himself off. So I thought I might as well go in, cover off /Crasher as early as I can. But I didn't cover him off enough. You can see they're just losing maybe half a second. If I was half a second quicker over any of those laps, I probably would have just stayed ahead, which is crucial because you can really easily block around this track, or defend, should I say. Maybe just something such as losing that little bit of time coming through the final turn when the yellow Z4 just parked on the apex. Something as little as that can make the difference between coming out ahead or coming up behind. Such is the closeness of the battle sometimes, which is good to see though. It's good to have close competition. And actually this does kind of prove that this is a good car. This BMW M8 is a good car. The Nissan Nismo in capable hands is an exceptional handling car. So the fact that I'm keeping up with it around Lime Rock, which is very much a handling circuit, is a good sign. And it's good for the future of the BMW M8 GTE big boy, or huge boy, should we say, with the dynamics of the Titanic, albeit still alive and above the surface here at Lime Rock. Okay, what lap are we on now? 17, crossing to 18, and someone just coming out of the pit lane, kind of an awkward exit. Couldn't quite judge exactly where he was going to go. He just comes across the circuit, so I just kind of, well, I didn't know what I was doing there. Kind of just braked and just hoped for the best, and luckily it worked out. As in fact, if anything, I think I've gained on Slash Crasher. Can we go about getting that race victory? Certainly on here, although Slash Crasher is no slouch. We saw that in the first race. He won the first race. Is he going to make it 2 in a row? We'll try to make sure he doesn't. If we can make this BMW go for victory. As we slide through the turn, and any little slide like that against good opposition, you lose a couple of attempts, which is crucial. And on that lap, I may well have lost out. Overall, another car coming out the pits, and I kind of put off by the exiting car, and I go a little bit wide to try to avoid contact, maybe a little bit too wide in retrospect, but it's always easy to look back and say what you could have done better. So lap 20 now, back marker just up ahead. Is he going to lose any time there? No, he isn't. He's going to let him actually go through. So actually the back markers in this race are actually very, very good. So we could argue goes to back markers, but in this race here, apart from maybe Engine Turbine, who was really trying to race us when he was a bit irresponsible, but you can't control everything. You can't have it all your own way. But you know, other than that, I think the back marker was actually very good indeed. Coming down the straight here, and he's just not really gonna fight this one too much. In fact, he is going to, he's going to back off and let us take the racing line once again. Just a very nice driving. So the battle resumes. Only 3 laps left to go though after this one, and the gap's still 150 feet. It's quite a tense affair when you have a race as close as this. And coming through here, I just have a weird twitch, and halfway through the turn I correct oversteer that wasn't really there and just spin myself into the wall. It was just a really weird crash. I suppose when you're under pressure like that to really try and catch up and produce scintillating content, then you make silly mistakes, as I did here. Luckily it didn't really change the position. I was still going to finish second. It was just a little bit embarrassing. But there we go, we're going to finish second. It's 2 seconds in a row against good opposition. I think that's that's good overall to get the fastest lap, although dirty. But overall, it's a good addition to the game. And turn 10, add more of those kind of cars. I'd love to see more. The Aston Martin, the Ferrari, the 488s, and other GT cars. It would be just great to see more of those. But thank you so much for watching as always, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the BMW M8 big boy, and I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.